Chapter 9 review number 4. Here we go. We're given the function 12 over x. For part A, we are going to calculate the average rate of change from 3 to 4. So we need to find f of 3, which is 12 over 3 or 4. And we need to find f of 4, which is 12 over 4, in other words, 3. And we need to find our AROC. So we need to find f of 4 minus f of 3 all over 4 minus 3. Okay, so we just did the grunt work. Let's crunch it in there. So f of 4 is 3. F of 3 is 4. 4 minus 3 is 1. And so we get that our AROC is negative 1 over 1 or negative 1. Okay, moving on to part B. It says let's find the average rate of change from 5 to 5 plus h. So again, we will find our f of, let's grab a color here. F of 5, which is 12 over 5. And f of 5 plus h, which is 12 over 5 plus h. And again, we need to find average rate of change, which will be f of 5 plus h minus f of 5 all over 5 plus h minus 5. And 5 minus 5 zeros out. So going back to plug in our values, our AROC will be 12 over 5 plus h minus 12 over 5 all over h. And so I would cha-cha-cha here, get rid of that complex fraction. So let's bring it down here. So we're going to have 12 times 5 or 60. So I'm multiplying on this diagonal first, then lower left to upper right, and then the denominators. So 5 times 12 is 60 minus 12 times 5 plus h all over 5 times the quantity 5 plus h. And all of that is over h. So let's distribute our 12. Distribute the negative 12. So we're going to have 60 minus 12h all over 5 times the quantity 5 plus h all over h. And at this point, you could change it to multiply by the reciprocal. So you could multiply by h over 1, or I'm going to keep consistent with what Miss Ibrahim's been doing. Let's multiply by our denominators. The lowest common denominator between 5 times 5 plus h and 1 is 5 times 5 plus h. So multiplying top and bottom, 5 plus h. Okay, let's move this up a little bit, and we'll have to answer part C down below all of the work we do. Okay, and when I multiply here, what ends up happening is this is a giant 1. Everything is multiplied, right? And by the way, 60 minus 60 gone. Okay, and so we will end up with, let's go back to blue here. We will end up with negative 12h all over h times the quantity. Let's distribute that 5 in the denominator. 5 times 5 is 25 plus 5h. Okay, I've got an h on the top, h on the bottom. And I am left with negative 12 over 25 plus 5h. So then part C asks us to evaluate this expression as h approaches 0. In other words, they're asking us to find IROC. Okay, and so going to IROC, we're going to do the limit as h approaches 0 of -12 over 25 plus 5 times 0. Guys, when you're doing this work for the test, you need to show each of these steps. I know that you can see, oh yeah, that 5 times 0 is going to be 0, and I can just skip that step. Show us that you know what you're talking about and plug that 0 in, please. Okay, so the limit is going to be, as h approaches 0, is going to be -12 over 25. Well, what does that mean? -12 over 25 is the slope of the tangent line of the graph at 5. So in other words, if you take a look at the graph of this, you know that this is a hyperbola. Let's just give a quick sketch. So if I have my two parts of my graph, and I'm looking for the tangent line at 5, right here. This means that the slope of this line at 5 is -12 over 25. -12 over 25. Okay.